Welcome back, Pat.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you chose to follow two careers at the same time. Obviously, the other one is a bit more primary and the other one is secondary, being your work at Investec. But before you came to Investec, you started somewhere. But I would like, before we talk about your work in the corporate at Investec, let's talk about first your other secondary career, being that of a qualified professional coach, but working in the development structures. How did it come about, and how was the journey, and where are you now?
Yeah, that is with a smile on my face. On my face, that is one journey, one career that I found. I could say I was born into it. I discovered a little bit later, of course, during COMETSA. But one of the things that I did when I was with COMETSA back then, when I was still forming the club at the time, I played various roles other than just coaching this team in the under-19 teams. I was also the clubhouse manager at some stage. I was a caretaker, and I played quite a lot of roles. And in between that, it was then necessary for me to study sports management. So I enrolled for certificate in sports management, which I successfully obtained. And because it became apparent that I needed to understand the overall running of the football structure and understand the politics and the nitty-gritties in that. So
which
then,
college was it where you got your sports?
It was with Allen B in home study.
Oh yes.
It was at Allen B. And then the other ones I will talk about then when you move to the other cycle of my career. So then I studied that and following that, football and having experienced what we experienced within COMETSA, then I realized that I actually can impart the knowledge. We also don't have to be waiting for professionals when they retire and bring them down here and say they can coach and stuff like those, when we are the biggest critique of the kind of football that they teach at sometimes. And also the fact that not having played professional doesn't necessarily mean that you know nothing about football. And then I started coaching. So after obtaining my KFD license in 2015, I then decided that I was going to go full time in volunteer football coaching at the local football association team, and then I joined the club in Alberton called Alberton Football Club, and I started coaching there. Mind you, everywhere I went in corporate, in life, I've always encouraged people to get involved in football. I've always gotten people to play football in companies, in villages, in the settlements that I go to. So when I got to Alberton, and having relocated from Hillbrow to the Alberton area, to the east side, then I joined Alberton Football Club. In there, I coached the under 18, and in my first year of our coaching under 18, we actually won the East Rand local football club cup. What if you can call that way.
Local football league.
Yeah, not the league, the cup. There's a league games, there's a league and there's a cup. So we won the cup, and not that winning at that age is a measure of success, but it's always a good point of reference, especially for the youngsters. They still remember that when we were with Coach Patrick, we won the cup and things like those. But as a coach, I know that is not what success is at a young age. Then I moved on to coach the under-9s again, still at Alberton Football Club, and then I moved on to coach under-15s. So I spent 3 years at Alberton Football Club coaching and at that level. And for me, and many other coaches, even the coaches at the professional ranks will tell you that the real coaching happens at the development stage when you got to deal with an 8-year-old who comes in and just want things to happen, who comes in and just expect to play, who comes in a responsibility of molding them and making them pros and getting them to understand the ways of playing football without emphasizing on tactics and in-depth technicalities of the play, but teach them. So then I coached under 15s there, and then after 3 years, I then decided it was time that I moved into a more structured development academy, and that's when I joined what we call Corinthians Black Aces Academy, which is down in Linksfield. And I've been coaching there now. Even now, I've been coaching there, and I'm still a coach at Corinthians Black Aces Academy. We just been stopped by the global pandemic of COVID-19 at the moment. But I coach there in the under 15 team, the under 17 team at Corinthians Black Aces. Last year I coached under 15s there. And this year I'm busy with the under 17s. So it's a progression in that sense.
How are you keeping the players together under this lockdown?
We have with limited resources, we have our own way of having a visual coaching. So what we do is we can't have visual online live meetings because not everybody will unfortunately afford data or be available to do that. But then we had to be creative, and then we have what we call a WhatsApp challenge. So to check that the players are keeping fit and are active in the times while we're still dealing with the COVID-19, and what we do is we have a WhatsApp challenge where every now and then a coach will, which is myself, will post a challenge to the players and ask them that they take a video of themselves doing that drill or exercise and post it onto the WhatsApp group and challenge their peers. And that way we're training, we're having fun, we are connecting, we are speaking and so forth. So the other one that we have as well also on WhatsApp is the two what I would call our most important platforms in terms of keeping together. Is the one is called #ChallengeYourCoach. So the players play football and they see many things and they don't understand what's happening and stuff like those. So I give them opportunity to say, challenge your coach and say, coach, I've seen this and that happening. What is the cause? Why is Ronaldo performing as much as he performs? Or why is he lacking this time? How did you see that game? Coach, why am I lacking in this way and that way and so forth? Coach, what do I do to improve myself and so forth? So we have that ongoing. It's something that happens during the season as well, but even now, in the days of COVID-19, it continues. We have a chat. It's me, my players, it's their parents. So it's our small community. We keep in touch in that way, and I find it to be quite effective. The players love it, the parents love it. We having fun, and we keeping busy under the circumstances.
Wonderful. Good. Any objectives, goals in as far as coaching is concerned? Where do you want to end up being?
Yeah. In terms of active coaching, a lot of my friends keep on saying, "Yeah, coach, but you qualified. I don't know if it's true. They see me as a good coach, and I won't fault them on that. I don't necessarily know if it's quite correct, but I'm humbled by that. And they want me to push into professional and stuff like and go and coach in professional. But I always say to them, I think I have two objectives in terms of actual coaching at the professional level. I'll be happy to be involved with the varsity football because I feel varsity football is the semi-professional and also stand between the professional and development. Because the varsity football is played by youngsters who are still at varsities and going through different disciplines in terms of studies. And at the early ages of their development, it's quite hectic. People might not understand it. Trying to balance creating a profession of football and also a profession of academic at the same time can be quite daunting. And that's a space that I would want to have my influence in, because I want to go there and show it to the youngsters that here are the possibilities and here are the things that can and things that cannot be done, so that I can mentor them. I can mentor them as a football coach. I can mentor them as an academic in my small space, and I can have the overall human being born out of those structures to be a sports person and also academic at the same time. Because remember, football in actual playing is a career that takes you up to 15 years, and after 15 years, then you face the harsh realities of the real life and so forth. So that's a space that I want to play into in terms of football coaching and mentoring. The one space that I want to play into is rather than all of us rushing to go and coach in professional leagues and stuff like that. By the way, it would be very nice to coach in a professional league, but I see myself playing in the space of coaches development. I stated earlier on that we're waiting on Confederation of African Football to release our A license structures and the pro license. And once you get your pro license, then you qualify to be a coaching instructor. And we have very few in Africa. There's two in South Africa, and there's Itene Eshete, who was my coaching observer at the time when I was doing my B license. Is from East Africa, and then we have few in the West Africa as well. And that tells you why, with so much talent, Africa is still not progressing. Africa is still not winning the World Cup, is not competing at that level. And yet we have a talent. You watch a team like France playing, and you know that 70% of that squad is African origin. And then you say to yourself, where are we going wrong? So we need to tap into that space. I feel we need to develop both our players and coaches in the same spirit, and so that we can move forward and move this continent forward and actually develop football into that sense as a play career and also as a profession beyond playing days.
So you said for you to get to the pro level is one more step, right?
It's one more step. I actually the license that I have qualifies me to coach in any Premier League in Africa. And then when I go to A license, which is the next step, qualifies you to coach any national team in Africa. And then the pro license then qualifies you to be a coaching instructor and educate other coaches, go to various level and train coaches and stuff like that. I was listening to one of our South African legends, Benny McCarthy, this week, complaining that local teams are overlooking our local coaches. And then I can say yes and I can say no, and maybe it's up to us as locals and Africans to really challenge ourselves and ready ourselves and make ourselves ready and available to these teams for them to can even consider looking at us. I mean, you look at Mamelodi Sundowns today; they're very comfortable where they're sitting with a local coach who was not a player a few years ago here, and we and Benny McCarthy is one of those as well, and many other coaches of African players. So we really need to be pushing here.
Isn't that the same requirement for the football administrators as well? Because coaching doesn't happen in a vacuum. Shouldn't they also be looking at, I don't know what programs you will send them to administrators, because it looks like as long as you own a club and you have access to the club, you can become anything. But is that right?
Yes, different from ours. Ours is strictly at a coaching level, which is coaching and mentoring, and there is an administrator courses as well. There's also, for example, your referee courses and stuff. So administrators as well. CAF has a responsibility of developing football holistically in Africa, and that we talk about
and
photography,
health and
health, sponsorship, and stuff,
nutrition,
and so forth. So that is all the what CAF in ideal world should be doing, and to be fair to them, they are trying. The nature of African football, unfortunately, and the ownership of clubs is such that it gets started by one person, and then he keeps it within his small space, be it a family business or be it an individual business, and so forth. And he looks into that as a means of.
But that can change as they corporatize themselves. I mean, there are quite a number of clubs that have really taken that. The club you mentioned, Sundowns, I think I look at it as a corporatized club. Even Kaizer Chiefs, although it's a family club, but they are a corporate now.
And I think cities of this world as well.
Yes. So Cape Town City as well, I think it looks like it is a corporate. So irrespective of whether it started by one person, it's a family business, as long as it's corporatized and it's called commercial structures, and then it does. And then, of course, they have villages, like Chiefs has got a village, Sundowns got a village. So it's a slow process compared to, but where we were in the 80s to where we are now, absolutely there's a shift, but it's too slow because the country is big. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The country is big, the continent is huge, and with huge inequalities in economic abilities and powers. But it's a battle we cannot lose. It's a battle we cannot pull out of.
And I don't think there is a rush. I mean, it's not for us. It's for generation after generation. The most important thing is for you guys to lay the right foundation. And then also succession planning and ensure that there is continuity, because
100%.
Yeah,
we actually I think the enemy of human being has always been that when you embark on in a project, you want to see the success in your lifetime, and that does derail you from the bigger picture. So yes, you're absolutely right. For us, it's about laying the right foundation, and the generation after us must just take from there and move this forward. And Africa will be big one. It will be big again. Africa will be big one day, and it will occupy its rightful position in the world one of these days.
Great, wonderful. We're going to go into the last episode, where we are strictly going to focus on your journey from the CATS days, because I think CATS program happened at the same time with COMETSA program. I want you to take it back there so that people can understand that you also have a corporate professional career that you have followed, and I think it will be very inspiring to your peers and everybody out there. By the way, the rationale behind this, in the footsteps of pioneers, is also to, while we are conversing ourselves, we also want to inspire people out there, but also to inform people and for them also to know that it's doable. And there are people like yourselves who have actually been on this journey, and it's becoming clearer now that yes, it's doable. So we'll come back and conclude with the last episode.